I'm 85 years old now. Most mornings, I wake up before the sun, not because I have somewhere to be, but because my body doesn't let me sleep the way it used to. The house is quiet, too quiet, and in that quiet, I finally understand something that took me a lifetime to learn. Money never brought me peace. Not once, not when I was chasing it, not when I had it, and not now, when there's more of it left than there is time. I'm not telling you this because I want sympathy. I'm telling you because I don't have much time left, and this is the truth I carried for decades without knowing it. At this age, you think a lot about endings. Not in a dramatic way, just in a practical one. You notice how many people are gone. You notice how quiet your phone is. You notice how the future feels smaller every year. And you start sorting through your life, not the way it looked on the outside, but the way it felt to live. I used to believe money was the answer to that feeling of unease I carried when I was young. I didn't call it unease back then. I called it ambition, responsibility, being realistic. But it was really fear. Fear of being poor, fear of being overlooked, fear of not being enough. I grew up in a house where money was always talked about in hushed voices. My parents worried constantly. Bills on the table. Conversations that stopped when I walked into the room. I learned early that money meant safety, or at least the idea of it. And I promised myself I wouldn't live like that. So when I was in my 20s, I worked hard. Longer hours than anyone asked me to. I took the jobs no one wanted. I stayed late. I said yes when I should have said no. I told myself it was temporary, just until I got ahead, just until things were secure. I wasn't careless with people. That's important to say. I loved my wife. I loved my children. I didn't abandon them. I just postponed them over and over again. I missed dinners, but I was home by bedtime. I missed weekends, but I made it to holidays. I missed conversations, but I paid for vacations. At the time, it felt reasonable, responsible, even. Everyone around me did the same thing. We congratulated each other on promotions, on bigger houses, on new cars. We measured our progress in numbers because numbers were easy to understand. What I didn't realize was that the cost wasn't coming all at once. It was coming quietly, in pieces small enough to ignore. I remember my daughter asking me to come to a school play. I told her I'd try. I meant it, but work ran late, like it always did. When I got home, she was asleep. The next morning, she didn't mention it. That should have worried me more than if she had cried. I remember my wife sitting at the kitchen table late at night, bills spread out, even though we had enough by then. She wasn't worried about the money. She was waiting for me. I thought being there in the morning was enough. I remember friends inviting us over and me saying, "Another time." We all said that. Another time felt endless back then. Years pass faster than you think. Not all at once, but steadily. You don't notice until you look back and realize how many temporary choices became permanent patterns. By my 40s, I had what people called success, a title, a salary that impressed others, a sense of being needed, and still, that quiet feeling never left. I thought the next milestone would fix it, the next raise, the next achievement. I didn't see the erosion happening, how conversations became shorter, how laughter at home came easier when I wasn't there, how my children stopped asking for my time and started organizing their lives around my absence. There was no big argument, no dramatic fallout, just a gradual distance that felt normal because it happened slowly. The turning point didn't come with a crash. It came with a hospital room. My wife got sick. Not suddenly, slowly. The kind of illness that gives you time to adjust, which is sometimes worse. I still went to work. I told myself I was providing. I was. But I was also hiding in routine because it felt familiar. One day, sitting beside her bed, she reached for my hand and said, very calmly, "I wish we had more time." She didn't mean years. She meant moments, mornings, conversations we skipped because something else felt urgent. She passed away a few months later, quietly, without drama. And afterward, the house felt enormous, too big for one person, too full of things we bought but never needed. That's when clarity arrived, not as a revelation, as a weight. I had done what I set out to do. I had secured our finances. I had provided. And yet, the thing I wanted most in that moment, another ordinary afternoon with her, was the one thing money couldn't touch. After she was gone, work felt pointless. I stayed longer than I should have because I didn't know where else to put myself. But the satisfaction was gone. The numbers didn't mean anything anymore. My children were grown by then. They had their own lives. We were polite, loving, even. But there were gaps I didn't know how to bridge. You can't suddenly show up and make up for decades of partial presence. They didn't resent me. That almost made it harder. Retirement came quietly. No celebration. Just a final day, a box of belongings, and a handshake. I remember thinking how strange it was that something I gave my life to ended with so little ceremony. That's when the loneliness really set in. Not the dramatic kind, the ordinary kind. Empty mornings, meals eaten alone, long afternoons where no one needed anything from me. I had savings, I had comfort, I had time, but no sense of peace. Peace, I learned too late, comes from being known, from being present when it counts, from shared moments that don't show up on any statement or ledger. There are things that can't be fixed now. I can't go back and sit in those school auditoriums. I can't revisit those evenings my wife spent waiting. I can't rebuild friendships that faded into polite holiday cards. Time doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care how good your reasons were. If I'm speaking to you now, It's not to tell you what to do. I don't believe in that anymore. Everyone thinks their reasons are different. I know I did. I just want you to notice what you're postponing, not quitting, not abandoning, just postponing. The conversations you keep meaning to have, the people you keep meaning to call, the moments you assume will still be there later. Later is not a promise, it's a guess. Money has its place. I won't pretend otherwise. It keeps the lights on. It eases certain worries, but it was never meant to carry the weight of a life. I used to think peace would arrive once everything was in order. It turns out peace is something you practice along the way, in small choices, in showing up even when it's inconvenient, in valuing people when they're still here to feel it. Now, my days are simple. I sit by the window. I watch the light change. I think about the life I lived and the life I thought I was building. There is gratitude in me for what I had, for what I was able to give. But there is sorrow too, the kind that comes from understanding something just as the opportunity to act on it slips away. If this meant something to you, sit with it for a while. You don't need to fix anything today. Just notice. I'm 85 years old. I don't need more money. I don't need more achievements. What I would give anything for now is something I once traded away without thinking. And that's the part I can't get back.